How's it going, guys? Jacob here, and welcome back to Modern Masculinity. Today, I want to talk about how to guilt yourself into consistency. This is something I promised I would discuss in a previous video, and I am delivering on that promise. This is something that I'm still actively working on, so these methods are just as much for me as they are for you. I don't want anybody to think that I'm some model of self-improvement excellency. I'm merely a mediocre. I'm mediocre by self-improvement standards, but I'm doing this to try to help and improve myself, and I figured I'd share it with you guys because it gives me an excuse to actually think about self-improvement. So there's two ways to guilt yourself into consistency, two methods. So the first is visualization, and the second is bitch voice. So I'll get into those. So first I'll talk about visualization. So basically what you want to do in order to guilt yourself into consistency through visualization is to visualize who you will be by doing the habit and who you will revert to if you don't. Basically, I want you to create two distinct versions of yourself in your mind. The first is basically the ideal version of you, but specifically in one way. I don't want you to just think of yourself as jacked and rich with a good woman by your side. No. I want you to think specifically of what consistency in a given habit would bring you, who that would create. So let's say for me, I struggle with meditation. I can imagine myself in the woods somewhere, sitting cross-legged, my eyes closed, and in communion with God and the universe through meditation. So that's one way to do it. For you, if it's exercise or journaling or NoFap, that's something else entirely. Just figure out what this version of who this version of yourself is that engages in these good habits on a consistent basis, and visualize him. You also need to create a second version of yourself. For your habit that you want to improve in particular, you need to think of that a version of yourself with that specific aspect lacking. So for instance, for myself with meditation, that would basically be kind of where I am now, to be honest. Just like, I'll often mindlessly scroll without thinking. I need app blockers to control my addiction to dopamine. So you need to think of yourself in the third person in those situations and be like, do I really want to be that pathetic guy? Like, you can't even sit down for 5 minutes and clear your mind, fucking loser. So that's the first method, visualization, and the second is the bitch voice method. Full credit to my friend Zach, who I met through Adonis Gang. We've gone on a hike together, for kind of enlightening me with this on a discussion we had a couple months ago. He introduced me to the concept of bitch voice. I mean, the concept was not new to me, but the nomenclature was. So I thought it was a good way of putting it. Basically, this bitch voice is, how you do it is, when you start getting thoughts basically trying to rationalize not doing a habit, repeat those thoughts after you've initially had them in like a bitch voice. So let's say it's, I don't want to meditate today, meditation's stupid. Repeat that in your mind in bitch voice, and that would be like, I don't want to meditate today, meditation's stupid. Just basically make yourself sound like a loser, and then you'll basically, what happens with me is I'll be like, oh, fuck you, loser version, and then I go and do the thing out of spite, So those are my two main guilt-based methods for gaining more consistency on self-improvement, and I will get back to you guys on how these work for me. I'm going to implement it with meditation. That's my plan. So thank you guys so much for watching. Do all the YouTube stuff if you want. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm just glad to share my message and actually feel like I have something slightly purposeful to work on when I'm not in university or training Muay Thai. So, peace out.